In the headlines, 2 dead, 5 rescued in Abuja building collapse. National Bureau of Statistics reports 3.54% growth in GDP in first quarter of 2022. And on foreign scene, UN condemns deadly air raid that hit kindergarten in Tigray region. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Nten Ekman. Another news in full. Residents of Kubwa, a satellite town in Buhari Council area of the Federal Capital Territory, were thrown into panic after a 2-story building collapsed, killing 1 person and leaving workers trapped. The building, which was under construction, collapsed at Hamzat Lahi Street off Gado Nasco Road. In a statement, the spokesman of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, said they were alerted about the incident at about 1 a.m. and immediately mobilized resources to the place, including FCT Emergency Management Agency, Fire Service, Civil Defense Corps, and the police. The Director General of the FCT Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, Abbas Idris, announced on Friday that 2 persons were trapped in the collapsed building in Kubwa, a suburb of Abuja, and they have died. Idris said the rescue operation at the collapse site came to an end with 5 persons rescued. Meanwhile, the Minister of State FCT, Ramatu Tijani Aliyu, has commiserated with families affected by the Kubwa building collapse. Flood victims in Makurdi are calling on the government to come to their aid as they have lost property and some cannot access their homes due to flood caused by torrential rains. The victims recounted the ordeal to our reporter who was in the affected communities. Now, most parts of Makurdi Township do not have good drainage system, thereby prone to flooding during rainy seasons.
Night we actually had a sleepless night, looking after the water, how the water was passing. We could even
They beg with the government, the government may come rescue us with this station with inside. All my property is inside water.
We don't even have gutter in our area, and this thing has been affecting us every day, now and then. Look at it; they have affected my this thing, even my house. Okay. All my properties in the room have spoiled. So we are pleading to God, to government to at least come and help us do drainage here so that the water can be able to flow.
Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike says his team is more interested in a better Nigeria and as such will consult widely with those who mean well for the country. Governor Wike spoke when he interacted with journalists at the Port Harcourt International Airport in the Ikwere local government area shortly on arrival from London. Governor Wike, who confirmed their meetings with the People's Democratic Party presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, or Progressives Congress presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, and former president of Nigeria Olusegun Obasanjo in London, explained that topmost on the agenda is how to make Nigeria better than what it is presently. The leader of the team and Benue State Governor Samuel Otom noted that they have met with renowned persons in the last few days because of their belief that Nigeria is in distress and required a concerted effort to be rescued. Abia State Governor Okezie Ekpeazu emphasized that they are on a mission and are determined to find a way out of rescuing Nigeria.
All Progressive Congress, we met with our leader, former president of Nigeria, Chief Obasanjo, and the presidential candidate of the Labour Party. We also met with our own presidential candidate, and now I can say confirm this is the first time as a team we are meeting with the presidential candidate, so you can see all those rumors and this and that.
For us, we are looking at the larger picture. Nigeria today is in distress. What can we do? No man or woman alone can get it right for our country. We are looking at how we can harness ideas and put ourselves together to ensure that we get out of the present challenge we are in Nigeria today.
We must find a way to rescue our country. not only for this generation, but for our children and grandchildren. And this is a country with great potential, and we have people everywhere. And we think that it's important we engage across board. We're also looking at speaking with civil society organizations and those who have ideas, Nigerians in the diaspora. All the resources are available in this country has to come together at this time to see how best we can move forward.
The Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabor, has reiterated the Nigerian military's commitment in the fight against oil theft. General Irabor disclosed this during the commissioning of 5 gunboats built by the Nigerian Navy at the Naval Shipyard in Port Harcourt. The production of the gunboat was part of the federal government's effort to develop a robust military industrial complex capable of meeting the defense needs in the fight against oil theft. Represented by the Director of Logistics at the Defense Headquarters, Rear Admiral Vincent Okeke, he hinted that the Defense Headquarters funded the building of the gunboats, which was built by their men. He said that the gunboats will be deployed immediately alongside troops in the various theaters of operations in the Niger Delta and other places.
These boats are simply to provide added impetus to our personnel in the fight against oil theft, oil and other illegalities. You must agree with me that you need platforms to prosecute the operations, and the most other boats we used to have did not have this ballistic protection. So the men now will be more confident in approaching such illegal sites. Before now, we had issues of being blacklisted by the International Maritime Bureau. Ships were finding it difficult to come here. High insurance premiums were placed on ships and goods being brought in here. But now we have been able to solve that. Now we'll shift our focus to crude oil theft. And I must tell you that it is the pirates that withdrew from piracy that kind of worsened the situation in terms of crude oil theft. But now I can assure you that we are well prepared.
Meanwhile, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabor, has said that security challenges in the country is stretching the resources of the armed forces to its limit. General Irabor spoke at the lecture series of the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, NIIA, in Lagos. The report.
According to Irabor, the military is currently conducting multiple internal security operations in all the 36 states of the Federation, including the Federal Capital Territory, in a bid to restore order and manage security situations in the country.
These asymmetric security challenges are aided in very large measure by the proliferation of small arms and light weapons, and the emergence of groups that engage in banditry, kidnapping, political violence, and other mafia-style violent activities.
He, however, maintained that no inch of the country is under the terrorist control, stressing that the armed forces will provide the needed security to ensure that elections hold in all parts of Nigeria in 2023.
There is no local government that is still under the hold of the criminals. So, but then you still have some of those criminals who run around from one place to the other. So what we did was to root them out. But Sambisa still remains a forest, still remains an enclave. It's not inhabited. We are not there every now and then, but of course once in a while we return to see if those who have routed from there have returned, and that's precisely what we did.
The chairman of the lecture series and former Minister of Health, Julius Adeloso Adeleye, called for appropriate response to address the issues.
What's happening in Nigeria is not new. It is happening elsewhere. It's what you do about it that matters. Those of you who are research-driven, try and look for the Daily Times of Nigeria of Tuesday, April 8, 1969. The very full page of it has a banner information saying bandits kidnap Abeokuta trader. So there was banditry to them, and there was kidnapping.
The Director General of the Institute, Professor Ehosa Osagie, said the foremost research and advisory think tank on foreign policy and international affairs is committed to partner with relevant agencies to address the security challenges in the country.
There are many ways that we can approach the responses that we give, but the key one is to see how we can domesticate some of those things because, as they say, prevention is key to defense.
A former Minister of External Affairs, Professor Bolaji Akeyemi, said the media has a role to play in addressing the security challenges in the country.
You're watching News Update on Trust Television. Coming up after the break. Lepers community cries out over eviction notice. We'll be back with more. Stay with us.
TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Every patriotic Nigerian should hear this. Any politician who means well for the people will never allow themselves or their supporters to engage in any violent, destructive activities. No politician who truly wants to serve the people and develop the nation will encourage his followers to destroy properties or take human lives before, during, or after the elections. The Nigerian public must watch out for these traits and isolate any politician who encourages supporters to engage in violence. No genuine politician or patriot will cause trouble and seek to destroy the very society which they aspire to lead or develop. Politicians who have the good of the people at heart will not allow themselves or their followers to engage in violence, destruction of properties, and then taking of lives. Be vigilant. By their words you shall know them. Shun violence. Stay away from politicians who want you to do so. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NORA.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Trust TV News Update, a recap of our major stories. 2 dead, 5 rescued in Abuja building collapse. And so what are the stories now? With the influx of people into the Federal Capital Territory as a result of urbanization, pedestrian bridges have become a necessity to reduce the rate of pedestrian-related accidents and ease intra-city shuttle. In this report, Newell Sampson looks at security risks associated with using the bridges, especially at night, despite their importance.
Pedestrian bridges are structures built over railway, river, or road to enable people or vehicles cross from one side to the other. This function of theirs, especially on highways, have reduced fatal accidents on the roads. Hence, the government deems it necessary to have them in busy roads within the city. Despite their significances, the bridges have unfortunately become an ambush point for criminals who rob unsuspecting users, especially at night.
The projector have been used for 2 years. At times when I'm coming, I used to mix it, but in the afternoon it's okay. But towards evening time, it's very dangerous, seriously. I've been hearing it, but one of my friends that I didn't happen to, that's when I believe that it happens to me. Yeah, though we are hearing instances where some persons are being robbed at night, maybe when it is extremely too late, but I have not fallen victim of it anyway. But I've heard stories, instances where a good number of persons have been robbed, attacked. The essence of pedestrian bridges is something we cannot overemphasize. It's very important. Yeah, it helps to actually reduce the accidents on the road, pedestrians being knocked down on the road by cars.
Also, citizens without proper toileting systems in their houses defecate openly at the foot of these bridges.
Yeah, a good number of persons. In fact, you see faces on the pedestrian bridges and you'll be wondering who must have done that.
Users who suggest ways for making the bridges safer at night are hopeful that government will act accordingly.
I think they can just have maybe security men around here. Maybe they can just park here so that at least people can have that safety at heart that, okay, using this pedestrian is safe, just like they do in other places.
The only thing I will say that can do is maybe they should just be bringing the monitoring units to always be staying around. Government can help us so that we can put more security around the places so that we will be okay.
Irrespective of the dangers encountered by the users of these bridges, they remain important for daily commuting. Hence, the need for government to address challenges around their safe usage. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Commuters plying Paria-Wuroboki Road, one of the oldest roads that link Adamawa State with the Republic of Cameroon, have called for the rehabilitation and construction of the abandoned road. According to the commuters, the road was dilapidated for decades, affecting agriculture and other commercial activities capable of boosting revenue generation in the state. Salis Lawan has details.
Gire Paria-Wuroboki Road is one of the oldest roads that linked Adamawa State with the Republic of Cameroon. Some motorists plying the 52-kilometer Gire Paria-Wuroboki Road explained that the road has become a death trap, causing accident due to its bad nature. They also highlighted how the abandoned and dilapidated road is critically affecting business activities, especially in terms of transporting of commodities to market.
Mumuna roƙon mu mutanen Paria, Wuroboki, Digino, Wuradole, muna roƙon.
Sometimes we find it difficult to take people to the hospital from Paria to the town due to the bad nature of the road. As drivers who ply this road always, we are pleading with the government to come to our rescue and rehabilitate the road.
You have seen how the nature of the road is. These days, the culverts have drained and washed away after a heavy downpour. During rainy season, we find it difficult to access the road from Paria to Wuroboki and Gire communities. Stakeholders believe if reconstructed, Gire Paria-Wuroboki Road will not only boost the economic fortunes of the border community, but also reduce criminal activities.
The road has totally blocked. As you can see, over 50 of our vehicles are parked due to the bad nature of the road because we find it difficult to drive to any locality. We are stranded because we no longer transport goods and commodities to markets. Therefore, we are appealing with the government to do the needful and rehabilitate the road.
Reconstructing the road, they said, will be game changer for commuters. Salis Lawan, Trust TV News, Yola.
The lepers community in Niger State has called on the state government to help build a permanent home for them. The call followed a notice to the residents by the management of the IBB Specialist Hospital asking them to vacate their homes to pave way for construction and expansion. Abubakar Kote reports.
Kampanin Kotare, which means lepers community, is less than 10 minutes drive from Mina town, the state capital. The community, which is some meters away from the IBB Specialist Hospital, was purported to have occupied the government land belonging to the IBB Specialist Hospital. The community of 38 houses has a population of at least 600 residents who came from various states, including Sokoto, Zamfara, Katsina, Niger, among others, for treatment at the Niger State Leprosy Hospital. Aside the quit notice from government, the stigmatization from other members of the society is also a theme of concern to the lepers and their families.
I came here to receive medication, and we have hospitals in our place, but they are all obsolete. The sickness is getting worse, and I was told that the best place for me to come is Niger State.
Residents here also lamented over lack of toilet facility, poor housing condition, and lack of regular water supply from the State Water Board.
I've been here for 8 years, and I hail from Kagara, Niger State. I've come to receive medication. I don't want to go back home again, because this place is already my home. I'm from Katsina State, and we've been confronting so many challenges. We are appealing to the state government to come to our rescue so that we can feel carried along.
The head teacher of Kampala Bari Primary School, Samuel Yusuf, said it took intervention of some teachers and non-governmental organizations such as Leprosy Mission, who came forward to assist the pupils by buying learning materials for them to encourage them.
Some of them are lack of money to buy the school materials. The teaching and learning materials, sometimes we are lack here, but with the help of the government, local government here, the supply, and in terms of school uniform and shoe and other things, is with some government NOG that come in sometimes to maybe give support.
Efforts to get officials of the Niger State Ministry of Health to speak on relocation notice failed as officials declined comment, asking this reporter to formally write.
Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa has said that the ongoing leisure park and film village project will be run by private sector for the benefit of not just the state, but for communities and visitors to the park. Governor Okowa disclosed this to newsmen shortly after inspecting the ongoing project in Asaba, the Delta State capital. The governor expressed optimism that the ongoing project will be open to the public at all times, adding that it will be run by industry experts.
Park itself will be run commercially, the film village will also be run commercially, and the zoo itself will be run commercially for the benefit not just of the government, but for the benefit of the community and all those who are visiting, because that is the only way they can have proper maintenance and also ensure that the services are such that is pleasing to the public. We just went into the zoo that over 70% of the animals that would have come in can't come in now until there is a final finish to the areas. We saw the lion and some other things, but we're hoping that in the next 1 month, because we're going to take some very quick action concerning the funding, to look for an alternative means of funding for them.
In business, Nigeria's gross domestic product GDP has grown by 3.54% year-on-year in real terms in the second quarter of 2022, a report by the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) has shown. The report stated that the growth rate is, however, a decline of 1.47% from the 5.01% recorded in the same period in 2021. The NBS stated that the high growth in 2021 was as a result of the rapid growth recorded following the toll the COVID-19 had on the economy in the second quarter of 2020. It added that the aggregate GDP stood at 45 trillion naira in performance and is higher when compared to the second quarter of 2021, which recorded aggregate GDP of 39.1 trillion naira. The nominal GDP growth rate in the second quarter of 2022 was higher relative to the 14.99% growth recorded, while non-oil sector contributed 93.67% to the economy. And on the foreign scene, the United Nations has condemned an air raid that hit a kindergarten in Ethiopia's northern Tigray region, killing at least 4 people, including 2 children. UNICEF Executive Director Catherine Russell made the body's decision known on Twitter on Friday. The federal government in that country denied the allegations, saying the Air Force only targeted military sites and accused Tigray People's Liberation Front, the TPLF, of staging civilian deaths. Tigrayan officials called the airstrike a heartless and sadistic assault. Tigray television, controlled by the regional authorities, said the attack in Mekelle happened at about 9:40 GMT on Friday and blamed it on the federal government. In sports, the Under-17 Women's World Cup will go ahead in India from October 11 after World Governing Body FIFA lifted the suspension on the All India Football Federation AIFF on Friday. The AIFF had been plagued by governance issues and was subsequently suspended on August 19 by FIFA due to undue influence from third parties. The ban impacted all football there, from men and women, professional down to grassroots, including the scrapping of the Under-17 Women's World Cup. But Friday, FIFA Council decided to lift the suspension after a temporary mandate of administrators proved successful. AIFF have now been handed back full control of daily affairs pending fresh elections, FIFA said. And with that story, we've come to the end of News Update this hour. For more, do contact us or connect with us across all our social media platforms. I am Ntenek Bang. Thanks for watching.